After many months in orbit, walking isn't easy. Neither will be explaining the mishaps on Mir. But it didn't seem to matter in the first few minutes of enjoying fresh air on firm ground. British-born Michael Foale won't touch ground until September. He's still on board Mir with 2 Russian crewmen. They've got the toughest job in space, maintaining Mir. Back on Mir, they're already preparing for the next stage of this mission. Tomorrow, the 3 men on board will climb into the escape module and make a visual inspection of the damage to the space station. Howell Jones, News at 10, at Russian Mission Control near Moscow.
We have more news ahead tonight, including a legal victory for the woman who says
South Bank University in London was striking deals with students. It's an academic market in which the university tries to sell its places and students who perhaps haven't achieved very good A-levels try to sell themselves.
Eventually got your maths. That was a bit of a struggle. Okay.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's fine. We can give you an offer based on those A-levels.
Fine, yeah, we'd make you an offer on that basis.
More students than ever are calling. It's their last chance to get a place without paying the tuition fee that comes in next year.
If you start this year, then you won't have to pay fees for the 3 years.
At Lewisham College in South London, students who already find the very idea of university daunting worry about having to pay tuition fees.
My initial reaction was disappointment and fear, basically, because I know that I am going to be in debt. There's no way I can avoid it.
I think it's going to put a lot of students in very difficult situations. There's enough financial pressures out there already.
At present, students get a means-tested grant of up to £1,755 and an interest-free loan of £1,685 a year. It's more in London. But now grants will be abolished and tuition fees will have to be paid. So most students will need the much larger loan of £3,440 a year that's on offer. After 3 years at university, they'll graduate with a debt of £10,320. Lucy O'Gallagher, packing for a gap year teaching English in Honduras. The government's decided, after all, not to make people like her pay the tuition fee when she goes to university next year.
Your choice of books is appalling.
But her father accepts that the cost of higher education will shift from taxpayer to student.
I think the more that it's discussed, and the more people will come to terms with it, the more people will understand it, and eventually we'll accept it, because that's the way it is in America, in Europe, and everywhere else.
The cost of higher education in Britain is now more than £7 billion a year. 40 years ago, when I went to university, I was one of a very small minority, fewer than 1 in 10, and somehow the state seemed able to pay my fees and give me just enough money to live on. But now 1 in 3 school leavers goes on to higher education, and the state can't afford it. More and more students will have to pay for themselves. The real cost of a Cambridge education is far higher than most people could afford. At Churchill College, they worried that many of the students they get from state schools would be deterred if the smarter universities bring in top-up fees.
And if that happens, then clearly we are likely to get an Ivy League of a small number of elite institutions priding themselves on excellence, providing the best possible education, but at a price.
Only for rich kids.
The danger, I think, is there.
Making students pay could mean our ancient universities continuing to attract the tourist, but no longer the poor scholar. Richard Lindley, News at 10, Cambridge.
Football.